welcome to Hovercam training. In this particular training video, I'm going to go through some of the key points on both the hover camera itself as well as the Hovercam software, just going through and looking at the different buttons, what they can do, what are some things that you might be able to try using the Hovercam. Hovercam is very similar to Ladybug, however its features are more advanced than Ladybug, so it's able to accomplish a little bit more, and it integrates a little bit easier with some other programs. So I'm just going to kind of take you through some of the features. I want to start out by just showing you the hover camera itself. So we have kind of two videos going on. So right up here, this is your hover camera, and there's a set of buttons. So this is what you see down here. There is also on the back there are two ports. So, sorry, that was my fault. There are two ports. There's a rubber stopper in one of the ports, and underneath that port it says install. Go ahead and leave that rubber stopper there. You don't actually need that port. The second port is where you will plug in your orange USB. It does have to be the orange USB for now. We're going to maybe look into getting some longer cords. I know that request had come out. The problem is it has to be the same caliber of cord, so it'll probably take some time. On the front of the hover camera, you have several buttons. You have AF, which is autofocus, AFL, which is autofocus lock, and I want to talk about the difference between these two. So autofocus, and I'm going to show you an example. So if I turn the autofocus on, what it'll allow me to do is the camera has a motion sensor on it, and so anytime something moves past the camera, it will automatically try and refocus on whatever's in front. But you kind of see this like zoom in, zoom out until it's actually focused, and then as I move again, it'll refocus again. So every time I move something, it will try and refocus. So I'm going to slide this up for just a second. This time I'm going to turn on the autofocus lock. So if I do autofocus lock, what it does is it focuses once, and then if I move stuff, it's not going to try and refocus. So I recommend the autofocus lock if you're doing stuff on paper. That way it's not constantly trying to focus on your hand, or if you're having to move from one paper to the next throughout your lesson. That way it's not constantly readjusting. That kind of zoom in, zoom out can be very distracting to students. So all they can focus on is the focusing of the camera. Some of the other buttons that are down here, I'm going to press autofocus lock again. So some of the other buttons that are down here, this middle button I accidentally pressed while we were looking at the back of the camera. What it does is it completely flips everything upside down. Everything that the camera is viewing, it flips it completely upside down. If I press it again, it will flip it completely upside down again. And then you have a zoom in and zoom out feature. On the top of the camera, and I'll show you using this other one. On the top of the camera, you have a couple of switches, and this one right here will allow you to turn the view 90 degrees in either direction. Okay, so 90 degrees just to kind of rotate what you're seeing. So if you don't want it to flip a full 180, then you use the 90 degree turn up here. On the other side of the camera, there is a switch. Let me see if we can find it. There is a switch, and that switch will control the lights. If you go, the first one is just for the one light bulb or the one set, and so it'll be a little bit dimmer. If you want it brighter than that, excuse me, I switched it. So the dimmer feature is the second one, and then the brighter feature is the first one. So just kind of play with how you want that to look, and it'll adjust the lighting for you. Alright, so I'm going to leave that here and put a sheet of paper down. And we're going to go ahead, I'm going to turn the light back off. We're going to go ahead, I'm going to show you some of the buttons that are actually on the program itself, so if you're working strictly from the computer. So the first thing you'll see is, first of all, you'll see a little snapshot box. When we get to snapshot in just a second, you'll start to see little thumbnails of your most recent snapshot. The second button is your split screen. So I'm actually going to get back out of it and take a snapshot real quick. So in split screen, what you can do is show your most recent snapshot in one side, and this is a still image, while on the other side you still have a live video feed. This would be really good for things that you need to show a before and after. So for instance, in science, I might take a picture of a reaction before it started, or some reactants, some chemicals before I mix them, and then the video would allow me to show them what happens during it. So then I still have the before on the left hand side of my screen, and then I can show the after on the right side of the screen. The next button is called Slingshot. This one is a little bit different. I'm actually going to open a program. So in this, I'm going to get out of split screen. In Slingshot, what it does is it takes your HoverCam video feed and minimizes it. So now you have it up here in the top corner. You can move this around the screen if you need to. But one interesting thing that it will do is, see where it says drag to insert as file. If I just click on the picture and I drag it over into my PowerPoint, it's almost like clip grab, but it's grabbing what you're videoing, so whatever's on the hover camera. And it's just taking it's like taking another snapshot, but without going in and taking a snapshot, copying it, dragging it over. All you have to do is go to Slingshot, and you can drag and drop them into whatever program you're using. So then I'm going to hit the Go Back button to take me back to the camera. The next one is Snapshot. It pretty much is what it sounds like. It just takes a one-time picture. And the next button is for Record. Now Record will allow you to do screen capture. It will allow you to do video recording. It will gives you some controls if you want to pause the video in between. Over here there's some advanced features, so that if you start recording but that you need to go back, you can change the time that you need to go back to. The next button is called Multiscan. What Multiscan will do is it will actually take a series of snapshots at a designated interval. So this one is preset to 3 seconds, and you can change how many you want to do. You can set a maximum number of pictures, and you can save them all as a PDF file. So it'll take all of them and it will condense them down into one PDF. So just to kind of show you for a quick second, this is the timer part of the feature. So notice it counts down, so every 3 seconds is going to take a snapshot. Giga Maggies. And then if I stop it from there, and just go, oh sorry, over here. I can click stop and it'll stop taking pictures. And then all of them are here in my archive. The other thing you can do is you can actually set it to motion, so that if I do it this way and I start it, it will only start counting down anytime the motion sensor is triggered. So this is good if you're trying to take photographs of something. For instance, the example that was given to us is butterflies. So as they are changing and leaving the cocoon, it stays still for a very long period of time, and you can set the camera to where it'll take a snapshot as soon as it starts moving. So that's just another option. The next one is freeze frame. It pretty much does what it says. The view, you can change the rotation, you can also mirror it, project it, and then you can also do picture in picture. and the picture-in-picture, if you have a second camera on the laptop, then it allows you, similar to this video, to have the laptop camera show you the person and then the actual hover camera to show you the document. And then you can go full screen if you want to go full screen. Zoom, you can zoom in and zoom out. Focus has the same features as the buttons that are on the front, or you can decide exactly what you want it to focus on if the surface is uneven. You have some visual controls and then some cropping features. Let me move this out of the way for just a second. And then here in settings, I don't know that you'll need this a whole lot, but you can. Hover camera does have its own microphone, but you can opt to change to using a different one. You can scan something. You can go look at how your recordings are saved. You can change where they get saved automatically, and you can kind of look at where your archive is. Most of that probably doesn't need to be changed, but it's there in the event that you need it. Alright, so over here on the left side, I'll show you the archive. So these are all the photos that we just took, and I want to click Go to Archive. So I have images and videos. In my images, see, I have a whole list of images here. So one thing that you can do from this view is you can actually select. So these were all of my images from the document that I had in front of me. Now let's say that I want all of these images to be saved together. So I would come up here to the top and I would click Stack. And now all of a sudden it went from being a list of images to a binder of images. If then you want to separate them back out, you can then unstack them. You can also delete directly from here. You can do the same with videos. You can delete directly from the video. One cool feature about this is you can actually PDF something directly from your hover camera. So you don't have to go find a copier that can scan for you or a scanner. You can literally just use your hover camera, take a picture of it, and PDF it directly from here up here at the top. You can also export, email, and print it straight from your hover camera. Notice over here on the left you have other folders, images, videos, stacks. So if I stack a bunch of these, I can go and just look through the stacks. And then a PDF option. On the right hand side, I'm going to close our archive menu. On the right hand side, you actually have an annotation menu. So this is similar to Smartboard Tools. You can write directly on the document that you're working on. So you can use a pen, you can change the color of the pen, the thickness, whether or not you can see through it, the font, the size of the font. You can change the shape, you can add text. All of that can be done from this wheel. So if you click and drag around, the wheel will rotate, so you can kind of choose which one you want. So let's say I just totally put a bunch of stuff out here. There we go. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So let's say I put some stuff out here, and there. I just have some text all over the place. Well, if I screenshot this now, it will actually save. You can kind of see down here in the bottom, it will actually save the things that I wrote. This is where it says hello, my box, my pen drawings. And then if I want to get rid of it, I just click clear all. If I need to go back to my mouse instead of using one of the tools, then I just click the mouse on the center of the wheel and it'll stop using the tools. That is all for this video. If you have any questions about HoverCam or issues with your HoverCam, please don't hesitate to contact me or Eric, and we will see what we can do. Thank you guys. Have a great day.